Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for this Engineering Education in Canada session with the University of Toronto Engineering. I'm just going to give it maybe another minute before folks to join us before I get started. So thank you so much for your patience, and we will get started very shortly. Okay, so I think I am going to get started. So hello, everyone, and thank you again for joining this session. My name is Jessica Chow, and I'm part of the University of Toronto Engineering Recruitment team. And it is my pleasure to be here today to talk a little bit more about engineering education in Canada and exactly what that looks like here at U of T Engineering. So I always like to begin these sessions with talking a little bit about the difference between engineering and science. The reason being that I find many students who are in these sessions are typically interested in the STEM fields and are debating between the two. So engineering really is the field that allows us to science is the field that allows us to better understand how the world works. And while they are working on getting a better understanding of the important aspects of the world, engineers are taking that information and that knowledge to develop solutions. That means that an engineering degree is a professional degree and one that is rooted in problem solving and critical thinking. And that means that there's a lot of versatility that comes with an engineering degree, and why you will find engineers in pretty much every field in addressing those major challenges. So what this means is that an engineering education is comprehensive, it's interdisciplinary, and it's highly transferable. It is different from a general science degree and it's general science education in Canada because it is regulated through licensing and accreditation bodies for professional engineers. Accreditation simply means that students who are graduating from an accredited program have the academic qualifications to register as a professional engineer and can use that title. And what that means for our students like you is that many of your courses are already carefully thought out for you. For example, you will be taking psychology for engineers before you take human-centered system design, or you'll take fluid mechanics before you take hydraulics and hydrology. So every aspect of your learning will also reflect the insights and of people practicing engineers who have come before you have. Now, what engineering in Canada looks like, and again, in order for you to become a professional engineer and to use that engineering title, you have to hold and maintain a license from a professional regulatory body. So that can be either a provincial or a territorial regulatory body. For example, in the province of Ontario, licensed engineers belong to the Professional Engineers of Ontario, or the PEO. Specific requirements for the different regulatory bodies will differ, but generally speaking, we're looking at 5 specific criteria that need to be satisfied. That is academics, work experience, professionalism and ethics, good character, and language. For this session, we are going to focus specifically on the academic piece of the requirements. And what that means is essentially you need to study an undergraduate degree from an engineering program that is accredited by the Canadian Engineering Accreditation Board, or the CEAB. And according to Engineers Canada, there are currently 279 accredited engineering programs across 44 different institutions in Canada. So what you see here is a list of the graduate attributes that the curriculum offered by an engineering program needs to meet in order for the program to be accredited. Every so often, programs and schools will go through an accreditation review to assess the learning outcomes of the curriculum with respect to these attributes to ensure that the accreditation requirements are met. In the 4 or 5 years that a student is spending at an engineering school in Canada, they receive an engineering education that is beyond just the technical, as you can see here. In fact, knowledge base is only one of the 12 criteria that our students have to satisfy. Engineering education understands people skills, whether that's teamwork or communications or project management, and how important that is for navigating the modern workforce. That means that an engineering education in and of itself is valuable beyond just the careers and what job it is that you're going to get at the end of your degree. It is a design education, it is a problem solving and systems and process thinking education, and confers a high level of transferable skills for that modern workplace. Now, all of the programs that we offer here at the University of Toronto's Faculty of Applied Science and Engineering are accredited by the CEAB. In fact, U of T Engineering is proud to occupy a top spot in major international subject rankings, specifically for engineering amongst a group of amazing peer institutions, as you'll see here. Of course, rankings aren't everything, but it's a really great start when you're doing your research and for students who are building your list of schools that you would like to apply to. U of T Engineering should be a top option, not only for Canadian students who are looking to return home, but for any student who is generally considering a career and studies at a top STEM destination around the world. Now, the University of Toronto is not only renowned for our global status, and we are well respected around the world, and not just for our global hub status for areas like artificial intelligence and data analytics, but we are also global leaders in areas like robotics, advanced manufacturing, human health, sustainability, and water. Of our 10 undergraduate programs, many are among U of T's group of programs ranked in the global top 50. This expertise that we offer within the university and in the faculty allows us to offer a very interdisciplinary approach to an engineering education, and I'll focus on that a little bit more later on. Now, U of T strives to be a welcoming place for international students, and is a place for students who are bringing their bright minds and their global talents to the campus. Our student body is extremely diverse. So about 30% of our incoming class is international students, and they are coming to us from over 100 different countries around the world. We are also very proud of the fact that for the past 7 years, we have been at or close to 40% women in our incoming class. And that puts us as the highest number of women students in an engineering classroom. Now, this diversity is something that we are very proud of, and diversity is something that we feel is extremely important for students who are training to become engineers, because the perspectives that you are exposed to allow you to become a better engineer than someone who doesn't necessarily have that opportunity. Earlier, we talked about engineering being a professional degree in problem solving, with engineering addressing major challenges around the world. So the challenges that you are facing and the solutions that you are creating for these challenges are ultimately supposed to benefit humanity. And humanity is made of people from various religions and cultures and backgrounds and beliefs. So having this opportunity to start considering these different perspectives as an engineering student will only prepare you to come up with solutions when you are working in the field that will truly serve everybody. Now, earlier we talked about engineering education being more than just the technical. So an example of this is that at the University of Toronto Engineering, in our first year programs, our students are taking a design course called Engineering Strategies and Practice, or Praxis. And ultimately, it is a design course where you will get knowledge and start learning a little bit about the engineering design process. You will likely find very similar courses at most Canadian engineering programs. Now, the Engineering Strategies in Practice, or ESP course, is really there to simulate the real-world engineering design process. In this course, our students are learning how the individual aspects of our curriculum come together to inform good engineering practice. Students are given real-life clients for them to work with, to devise solutions for, and to report to. They work in teams with people that they just met and have just gotten to know, with concepts that they need to comprehend practically and beyond just the theoretical level. So in that Engineering Strategies in Practice, you're really getting that hands-on learning that is so important in engineering education. Design courses like these continue through each of our programs in the upper years of the curriculum. So for example, if you're in electrical and computer engineering programs, there's a hardware design course that you are taking in second year. And if you're in chemical engineering, there's a plant design course that you will be taking in fourth year as well. So design is not only available in first year, but is peppered throughout your studies at the faculty. So one unique aspect about studying at U of T engineering is our name itself. We are the engineering faculty that is embedded within the University of Toronto, which is one of the best comprehensive universities in the world. The expertise that is available at the institution is available for us, that is available throughout the university, allows us to deliver an engineering education that is interdisciplinary, meaning that engineering students not only get to study the discipline of engineering that they are in and engineering topics, but they also get to pursue their interests in areas like business, in arts, and public policy, and gain academic recognition for this too. To begin though, students will first need to determine which academic program is the right fit for them. Across engineering schools in Canada, you will see various disciplines of engineering being offered. It is important for you to do your research and to reflect on what your strengths, your interests, your career goals are when figuring out which discipline is the best fit for you. Now, there are a number of different resources that are available to you as you are doing this research. So this here is Explore Engineering, which is a website that you have access to. It is exploreengineering.ca, and it has very detailed information as to what different disciplines of engineering entail. Some institutions might have quizzes and self-assessments that you can use to figure out which engineering and program might be a good fit, but we always encourage you to take advantage of representatives like myself or current students who are at a engineering school in order for you to get an insight as to what it is that you will be learning and the student experience at that particular school. Now, the following is what we offer in terms of academics here at the University of Toronto. So we have 10 different programs. First and foremost, we have the first 8 that you see highlighted, and these are our core programs, or core 8. We name these programs as such because these represent the long-standing core disciplines of engineering from which most jobs in engineering, old or new, trace back to. Training in any of these core programs provide a broad enough foundation that your career options are not limited to a narrow field. Students exploring the various areas of engineering are often asking us exactly what the difference is between each of them. The next few slides will review what the discipline looks like here at the University of Toronto. But again, it is very important for you to do the research yourself as different schools will have a different approach as to how they teach a particular field of engineering. Now, before we get to the various disciplines, I first want to note that with these core 8 programs, so the 8 programs that you see here, the first year is a foundation year. So students will take courses like engineering strategies and practice that I mentioned earlier, programming, calculus, all of that. The aim is to provide students with a solid foundation before they continue on into their disciplines that they are in. So as I mentioned, the next couple of slides will go over what the specific engineering programs we offer are. I will also put into the website, into the chat rather, our website, which will have more detail as to what it is that each of these programs individually offer. Now, some universities, in addition to offering a specific discipline of engineering, will also have may have a mandatory general first year in which no one declares their programs up front. Some of these programs may require you to apply after your first year into the specific discipline you're interested in, whereas others may not. So again, this is where it's really important for you to do that research. At U of T Engineering, we take a different approach in that we offer a program called Track 1 Undeclared Engineering Program. Students who choose this program are taking the same foundation courses as the students in the Core 8 program. One of these courses will be geared towards teaching you exactly what each of these disciplines entail, so that at the end of your first year, provided that you're in good academic standing in both first and second semester, you're able to transition into whichever Core 8 program it is that you wish to pursue. Now, one question we often get is whether students are at a disadvantage because they're not starting off in a specific discipline. And the answer is that no, they are not, because that first year they're taking is more or less the same as what the Core 8 students are taking. Ultimately, the Track 1 program provides you with the opportunity to make an educated decision at the end of your first year to decide which program it is that you would like to pursue. Now, the third and last program that we offer is a program called Engineering Science. So engineering science is different in that, as the name suggests, it bridges the world of engineering and science. So there is a heavy focus on theory compared to our other programs. The format and the structure of the program is different as well, in that it is a 2+2 format. So you have 2 years of foundations before you go off to choose one of 8 majors to focus your program in. Not only does this program train our students to be ready for traditional industry, but also push industry forward through research. U of T Engineering is actually only one of 7 schools around the world, including UCLA, the National University of Singapore, and then University College London, who are part of a consortium offering engineering science programs. Now, of course, our students start their degree with a fairly structured curriculum. So again, the intro to engineering, so it's a foundation year, and then your second year tends to be an intro to the discipline of engineering that you are in. Halfway through, so in your third and fourth year, your options start to open up. So at this point, you can start thinking about areas of focus within your program, for example. We have chosen to maintain our 10 programs of entry for most of our history, believing in our philosophy that providing students with a timeless, broad-based foundation in each discipline allows them to really have a lot of choice when it comes to their career paths after their time with us. But once students enter their third year, that's when they can start choosing substreams within their programs, such as biomedical, software, mechatronics, to tailor and really start focusing their degrees in. We also offer engineering minors and certificates. So going into year 3, students will have the opportunity to use their elective courses to pursue an engineering minor, which is 6 credits, or a certificate, which is 3 courses. We offer 24 different minors and certificates, and this is where we really take advantage of the expertise that is available across the university and partnering with various divisions to provide students with these interdisciplinary offerings. For example, we partner with Rotman Commerce to offer the Engineering Business Minor and Certificate. We partner with the Faculty of Music to offer the Music Performance Minor and Music Technology Certificate. And new this year, we have partnered with the Monk School of Global Affairs and Public Policy to offer the Public Policy and Engineering Certificate. So U of T engineering students have lots of choice in that matter in terms of customizing their degree. If any of these minors and certificates are not of interest, but they have a passion in the humanities, the social sciences, or in languages, our U of T engineering students can leverage the program offerings at the Faculty of Arts and Science and access courses through that faculty as well. So what makes our offering unique is really that combination of this highly customizable degree and being in Toronto itself. Not only do you benefit from a safe, multicultural, and comfortable learning environment, but you also have exposure to career development and networking opportunities as well. This is something for you to consider when you are doing your research, is the environment that you're studying in, as well as the environment that you're living in. Does living in the heart of a major city where you have access to a diversity of opportunities in entertainment and cuisine excite you? Or are you interested in prefer to study in a mid-sized community where the campus is surrounded? These are all important things for you to consider when you are doing your research. We also leverage our location. We also leverage our location through our professional experience year co-op program. So for example, we have one of the oldest and largest work experience program of its kind in Canada, where we have over 400 hiring companies and 2,700 jobs are available to our student. All of our students, including our international students, can participate in this program and go through 2 years of guided career development, as well as 2 distinct work terms. So the Professional Experience Year, or PEY co-op program, is a work experience that we provide for our student. These work terms are paid, so the average salary last year was $56,000. What really makes our program different from the other co-op programs that you may see across engineering schools in Canada is the structure. So the traditional model of co-op is 4 months of work, 4 months of studies, and alternating between the two. Whereas for us, our students are on campus studying for 2 years as full-time students before they go off to do an optional co-op for 4 months during their summer from May to August. They'll then come back for the 3rd year of study before they go off to do a 12 to 16-month co-op at one company. So we believe that because our students are there for that duration of time, they really have the best level of exposure and learning, but also have the opportunity to build meaningful relationships with their employers and their colleagues. This model also allows our students to maintain the relationships that they build with their students and to allow that cohort of students that they meet in first year to remain relatively intact. In addition, we also run our own program. So the Engineering Career Center exclusively services our students and the unique needs of engineering students and industry partners. So it's really tailored towards ensuring that engineering students get the most out of their work experiences. Of course, research is something that is very important to us at the university, as we are a research-intensive university. U of T engineering students have access to robust research opportunities. Many of our faculty members are hiring students to help out and support with their research, such as Professor Warren Chen that you see here, who looks and applies nanoengineering to developing new approaches to cancer treatments. So renowned researchers like himself, as well as other faculty members, are looking for undergraduate students to help support them, and you can begin research as soon as 1st or 2nd year. Beyond on-campus opportunities, we also have partnerships with over 160 universities around the world. So if you're looking for that international experience and you're interested in research, you can marry the two to get that as a part of your degree. Now, hopefully, I've imparted on you some tidbits about the engineering education in Canada and what that looks like here at U of T Engineering. If you are interested in joining our community, I have a few things that I want you to keep in mind for the admission process. A note before I dive directly into what the admission process looks like for U of T Engineering, I want you to remember that the admission requirements and process will differ depending on the school that you are applying to in Canada. So again, this is really where I encourage you to do your research and to connect with the various engineering schools and representatives to see what it is that they are looking for in their applicants. So the first thing that you need to know is that at the beginning of the presentation, I talked about Canadian engineering education being one that prepares you for both the technical knowledge as well as the soft skills that you need to be an excellent engineer. These soft skills, such as communication, problem solving, are really important in navigating the modern workplace. And as engineers or future engineers, engineering is no longer a field where you're working by yourself, solving math problems or calculus equations. It really is a field where you need to be able to articulate your ideas, be able to collaborate with folks from different fields. So that teamwork aspect is really important as well. For this reason, we believe that the admission requirements to U of T engineering should reflect the considerations of all your achievements, both inside and outside of the classroom, and using this and to determine your fit in our community. So this means that in addition to grades, we are also taking into consideration your extracurricular involvement, as well as questions that will get a better sense of what your problem solving and communication skills are. So again, the academic performance, the extracurricular involvement, and then the communication skills and logical thinking are all equally important in the admission process and what we are looking for. In terms of academics, students need to present senior level studies in English, math, physics, and chemistry. These are the specific courses that we are looking for. We consider applicants holistically, so in addition to grades, extracurriculars, and that means anything that you're involved with outside of the classroom will count. What we're looking for includes, volunteering, part-time jobs, arts, clubs. If you've won any awards, if you're part of any contests, all of that is something for you to let us know about. You'll have a box to describe the activity that you're involved in, and we encourage you to go into depth about your responsibilities, as well as the skills that you have learned as a part of your involvement. The 3 questions that I mentioned before is part of a timed assessment. So again, we are looking for a demonstration of your communication skills, your logical thinking, and problem solving. 2 of these questions will be answered via video, while 1 is a written response. This is just generally what the admission process looks like. The dates will differ depending on when it is you're applying. These dates apply to students who are currently in grade 12. So the first step is for you to apply through the Ontario University's Application Centre, or the OUAC, by January 15th. About a week or so after you apply, we will send you a link to the engineering applicant portal, which is what we'll use to communicate with you throughout the process. And that is where you will see our mandatory supplementary application, the online student profile. So the online student profile is where we will capture those extracurricular activities, as well as your responses to the 3 questions. I will note that as a part of the application process, here on the OUAC, you are going to choose your top U of T engineering program. When you get to our supplemental application, here you can choose up to 4 U of T engineering programs you want to be considered for. We'll consider you in order of how you rank the program. So we'll look at your first choice. If you're not eligible, we'll look at your second, and so forth until you've been considered for up to the 4. Now, you will also see here early consideration deadlines. So our decisions are made between February, March, and May. February and March tends to be smaller rounds, whereas May tends to be the largest. If you would like to potentially hear back in February or March, then you will need to abide by the deadlines in red in order to be potentially hear back by then. I will note that if you have, if the mission committee wants to wait for additional details before they make a decision, they may wait until later on in the process before they make a decision. Regardless of when you hear back though, June 3rd is the deadline for you to accept your offer of admission. If you are interested in residence, we do have a first-year residence guarantee, which requires you to submit the application by March 31st. Now, the application consists of you ranking the various residence types that we offer, and there's no financial commitment. So even if you have not heard back, we encourage you to fill out the residence profile so that you can guarantee your space in residence, and you can decide later on whether you would like to accept that offer or not. Just as a note, most engineering students are in Chestnut residence. Now, a couple tips that I will leave for you before I get to the questions, as I do see that we do have some Q&A in the questions in the Q&A. First and foremost is for you to apply early. So like I said, while ultimately the deadline is January 13th, we do ask that you apply. We do encourage you to apply sooner rather than later. That way you will have the opportunity to access the mandatory supplementary application earlier and have more time to work with it. We are also running various applicant workshops. So once you've applied, we'll let you know about the online student profile workshop, which will help walk you through what to expect and what we're looking for in that supplementary application. I also mentioned before that on the OUAC, it is your top U of T engineering program choice. And then once you get to the supplemental application, you can choose up to 4 U of T engineering programs you would like to be considered for. Again, we will look at you through those up to 4 choices automatically. So there's nothing in additional that you need to do. Now, finally, there are many ways for you to connect with us through our programs. The U of T eng.ca/discover is the website that I shared earlier, which will have more details on the information that I talked about today. We're also on social media, so we encourage you to follow us. But also, if you have any questions after today, engineering@utoronto.ca is the email to get in touch with myself and my colleagues. Okay, so I'm going to answer questions in the Q&A now. So if you do have any questions about anything that I went through, this is a great time to put that in. So the first question was about internships and co-op opportunities. So as I mentioned, yes, we do offer co-op. Then students are participating in the optional 4 months after their second year. And the bulk of their opportunities as a 12 to 16 month opportunity at one company will take place after their third year of studies. The second question we have here is, does the University of Toronto offer jobs to students on campus? So we do. There is a website called the Career Learning Network that has a database of positions that are available to students. We offer something called the Work Study Program, which essentially means that all the employers are at the university, and we are very aware of what your schedule is as a student. So your hours that you have to work are scheduled around your availability based on your classes, labs, and tutorials. So again, recognizing that you are a student first and foremost, and your job's schedule will be scheduled around your availability. Finally, I see here, I saw the requirements for U of T and there were science courses. What are the requirements, I'm guessing, as an art student? So again, I'm here to talk specifically about U of T engineering. If you do have questions about what the programs we offer at the university are, what the requirements are, I encourage you to visit this website, which is future.utoronto.ca. I'm actually going to put that in the chat. And then that way, all of the students can access that. But basically, as an overview, if this is the first time of you hearing about the University of Toronto, essentially we have 3 different campuses. So we have a campus in downtown, that is our St. George campus. We have a campus about 30 minutes east and west of downtown campus, one in Scarborough, so that is called the University of Toronto Scarborough campus. And we also have the University of Toronto Mississauga. Across all 3 campuses, we offer arts, business, and science programs. At the St. George campus, in addition to arts, business, and science, we also offer engineering, music, kinesiology, as well as architecture and visual studies. So if you have more questions and you are interested in any of those programs, I encourage you to visit the future.utoronto.ca website and connect with my colleagues there for any questions that you might have about those specific faculties and programs. So next question here is, are there any resources that prospective engineering students can use to check common and specific entry requirements for different engineering programs? So that's a fantastic question. So the website that you want to use is this one right here, our discover.engineering.utoronto.ca. I will say that all of the requirements are the same for the programs that we offer. So across all of our programs, we are looking for those 5 specific courses: English, physics, chemistry, calculus and vectors, and advanced functions. We are also going to look for your extracurricular involvement and those 3 questions that are assessing your ability to articulate your ideas, your problem-solving skills, and your logical thinking. So all those 3 requirements are equally important in the admission process and what we will take into consideration. I don't see any additional questions in the Q&A, so I'm just going to hang around for a little bit more, for a little while longer in case there's any that pop in. But unless you don't have any questions and this is and you're good for today, I want to thank you for taking the time to sign in and to hang out with me today for the past 40 minutes or so to learn a little bit more about U of T engineering. Again, I encourage you to take the opportunity to visit our website and to take advantage of our virtual resources to learn a little bit more and continue with your research into the faculty. So thank you again. And I will hang around for a little bit longer to answer any other questions that come through in the Q&A. Take care, everyone.